Welcome to the Blinded Truth Truth Shot podcast, where real stories meet real healing. We are your hosts, Destinnee Vance, and co-host.
Eric Foster.
And today's episode is titled 500 Downloads, The Truth Behind the Grind. First, we want to say thank you to every single person who has listened, shared, supported, and believed in this podcast. Reaching 500 downloads might look like just a number to some people, but to us, it represents 500 moments where truth, healing, and real conversations reach someone who needed it. But let's be honest for a moment. Sometimes people look at what you're building and think it's easy. They see the outcome, but they don't see the late nights, the doubts, the learning curves, or the moments you question if it's even worth continuing. This conversation is for anyone working on a vision, building something from the ground up, or chasing a goal that hasn't fully manifested yet. Because the truth behind the grind is breakthrough often happens right after the moment people decide to quit. So, if you're building something, dreaming about it, or trying to become something better, don't give up. Don't give up before the miracle happens. This episode is powered by Destinnee is by Choice Support Services because your journey, your voice, and your truth matter. So, this is a great title that you came up with because you actually did a little short reel about not giving up 5 minutes before the miracle. And I think recently we were in a not giving up moment, but it was kind of like, where are we in the podcast? I think we lost some motivation when the things happened with way before last year. But like recently when we saw that 500 downloads, it kind of like, oh my gosh. It was a moment of like,
Somebody's listening.
Yeah. And I think that and you being asked to come do an episode in June, we ain't gonna say a lot because we're gonna have to surprise them. But I just think that those moments is just like keeping us I'm not gonna say keeping us going, but it's kind of like this is amazing.
I think the behind the scenes stuff is what keeps me motivated. Like, I know you do a whole lot of work. I mean, and then reaching out with the tap and all that.
Yeah.
It's like the small wins that keeps me motivated. I giving up. I don't know if it crossed my mind, but getting a little worried. Yeah. Not knowing if it's working.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then I think of who am I really doing it for?
Yeah.
If nobody watched it, I think I would just say we'd still do it.
Yeah, we would because our goal is not to. I mean, we would love to see this blow out the water in a beautiful way where it just impacts so many souls. But I think our real goal is to help people. So even if we have 1,000 followers or 5 followers, we want to continue to do that because we know that once it do blow up, there's going to be old episodes that somebody can watch and be like, they put this out years ago. I wish I had this years ago. And like you said, the small wins, like being asked to come do a workshop.
That's a huge
with a huge nonprofit here. That was big for me because I was sitting there with Avalon and just listening to how they saying they're making an impact in the community. I looked at her and I was like, making an impact in the community. And you know how she is. She's so bubbly. She's like, yes. And I'm like, we're making an impact in the community. Because I guess we just didn't know, because we really hadn't had. I mean, we had the conversation with Pastor Todd, and he was like, "Yeah, I've been seeing y'all." We kind of like, "How you been seeing us?"
Yeah.
But I think that it's hard when you are trying to accomplish a goal or do something and you don't see the results to keep pushing on. I think that's what's hard for a lot of people. Like,
But the thing is, like, when you want to do a podcast and you're thinking about doing one, you don't know everything it takes to do that podcast,
Yes.
right? And you don't know how much it costs to do a podcast.
Yes.
So with us paying for everything out of our pocket, our engineers and all that stuff, if you don't have that stream of income coming in, it can be discouraging,
Yeah.
because you're starting and you got to sacrifice here just because this needs to be done.
Yeah.
It's worth it,
Yeah.
because you see the vision, and it's a grind, like you said, it's a grind.
Yeah. Like it's a non-stop grind. Like there's times that, I'm going from work, school, podcast, and I'm up, past 11, 12 o'clock. I'm talking with guests. And I think for us, the hard part too is who we attach to what we doing.
Yeah.
Because so many people want to come, they hear the word podcast and they want to come and talk, but it's like that doesn't align with what we're doing.
Because my whole thing is, if I interview somebody, I'm gonna make sure that their reputation holds up.
Yeah.
I don't want to be attached to anything that's gonna make me look bad.
Yeah.
Not just on the podcast, but after the podcast is over, I don't want to be the person that said, "Oh, they had him on or her on the show and they did this."
Mhm.
I don't want that.
Yeah.
And it's hard because it's gonna be a lot of people that gonna want to be up here, and we could probably want them to be up here, but it can come to a point where something might hold them back from being up here, and it's nothing. No malice, is just protecting the brand, because if anything, we're liable for a lot of stuff now. We're
Yeah.
just not liable for a little bit. We got a lot going on when it comes. There's a lot into it. That's all I'm
Yeah.
trying to say.
So what keeps motivating you to continue to do this or accomplish any goal? I mean, like even when I was watching you get all of your certification as a peer, like even, and please, I hope you don't mind me saying this, but like even pushing on in the midst of barriers and adversity that you face with, getting certain jobs and stuff as a peer, like what continues to push you on to continue to do what you're doing even when you don't see the wins?
Having putting in like 15 applications, getting hired 15 times, getting offered 15 times, and in my background coming back and saying no because the period for my last possession charge is not long enough, right?
Mhm.
All of them knows. But my whole thing is, if I keep going and keep getting better and getting more education and stuff like that, it's gonna be a point where they can't deny me,
Yeah.
and it's not me asking them, can I work for y'all? It's them gonna be asking me, can you work for me?
Yeah.
Because when it comes to what I do, I'm not gonna say I'm the best, but I'm next to the best.
Yeah.
I know that. There's nobody on earth that can do what I do. And that's not being cocky. It's just being. It is what it is because of how I stayed humble, and when I go into places, I don't have to tell the people I'm still on that level. I show them.
Mhm.
When I go in somewhere, I'm talking, I'm meeting, I'm greeting, I'm shaking hands, I'm asking questions, I'm interviewing before it's just like I want everybody to know that I still see them as human.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we get looked at as animalistic, and the people
Ooh, look at you
forget.
use a big word.
That's what I do on occasion. I got a couple. They ain't lose all the brain cells.
Anabolistic.
Yeah, but it's like I mean, you just gotta be something to keep you. I know
Um,
but you don't get many no's. Though, but I do know that by being around you and seeing what you're gonna do. You don't get too many no's.
I don't get too
Oh,
many.
so let me ask you a question then.
Mhm.
How is getting that no gonna affect you?
So getting a no for me is like okay because I've come to the conclusion that if I got the no, it's because I'm not supposed to be in that space. Like
Mm.
that's not meant for me. And then later on, it becomes revealed to me because there's been times like I've gotten job offers, people wanted me, and then I said no. And I'm not understanding why I'm having to say no at that moment because the money looks good,
Mm.
the job looks good, or the opportunity looks good. And I'm just like, something's not sitting right inside of me to say yes. And then I understand the no. Like maybe somebody that wanted to hire me, they're actually not a good supervisor, or maybe I needed to be at home, you know what I'm saying? But
Mm.
what keeps me pushing and doing the work that I do and doing the podcast um, is because I have a place in my heart to help people. What's the saying? Teach one, reach one, or reach one, teach
Each one,
one.
each one.
And so it's kind of like, even if I'm not your cup of tea, that's fine. You can keep scrolling, but I know that I'm the tea for the right person. Like the right person will see our episodes or see our reels and say, I resonate with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, share.
And from us coming from different backgrounds, right? I think that when I came into this space of getting my life together, I had a whole lot of hopes, a whole lot of dreams of I seen the bigger picture. I wanted to do this and do that, and I
Mhm.
fixated on doing just that. But I didn't do the research all the way to know that this might happen.
Mhm.
So for anybody who wanting to get into this space, I would tell them to do the research about the barrier crimes and stuff like that,
Mhm.
but don't give up on if you want to do something.
Yeah.
It's like just know that if you get these certificates, it may be a waiting point before you can really actually use them.
Yeah.
But anything don't kill you make you stronger, man. So with me, I embrace the no's, because I know that what's meant for me is meant for me. I know God gonna put me where He want me to be at. My life is not a mystery no more. I believe in God. I let Him lead me, and what it's gonna be for me, gonna be for me. No matter how long it takes to get there, it's a marathon. It's not a race. And this hustle told us that it's a marathon.
And I think that also plays a play of why sometimes people give up, because like they think that, oh, I'm 35 now, I should be here because I see other people be here. I just saw somebody's TikTok where this lady said that she started her like clothing line and stuff in her 40s, and then
Mm.
she didn't get to and then she had her first baby, I want to say at like 35, 36 or something like that. But she said that she didn't get to leave her corporate job until like 45, 46. And for me, I can only imagine the anxiety she probably felt, because you just now starting your own company, but it goes to show like your timing shouldn't be on other people's timing. And I think that's why a lot of times people give up, because it doesn't look like the way it should at that moment.
And I have to say this because of people in early recovery and like coming out of treatment and getting in
Mm,
recovery, and they see people that are peer recovery specialists, and they be like, I want to do that.
yeah.
And my message to them is,
Or they say, I'm gonna get a year clean, and I'm gonna get a car, I'm gonna get a house, I'm gonna
but
get all this stuff.
but the thing is though, just because you get clean in your recovery, don't mean your path is to become a peer.
Mhm.
It could be a lot of things to do with your life, and being a peer is not as glamorous as it looks.
Mhm.
And if you're not mentally ready for a role like that, it can take you under, man, because you take on a lot of people's problems.
Mhm.
And if you got problems yourself, it's gonna be a long day.
I used to tell when I did reentry, I used to go into the jails, and I would tell them, like, show up their face sheet. This is what I got. Tell me what happened with the charge. Tell me what happened. And then I would say, well, what's your goal when you get out? And then they would tell me it most most of the time. It was, I'm gonna get my house, I'm gonna get a car, and I'm gonna get some money. Okay, but tell me how we're gonna accomplish those goals. And I would tell them, I would say, that sounds great. But tell me this, when you look in the mirror, what do you see? And I love that question, because I would get so many random answers, and they would be like, this is exactly why I asked you this question, because they'll be like, well, it depends on who's looking in the mirror with me. And I'm like,
Mm.
exactly. So what do you see? And so I would tell them, I would say, when you look in the mirror, you should be looking at you. And when you look to the left and when you look to the right, depending on who's in your view, you're looking at what they look like or what they got going on. But when you look in the mirror, you're looking at yourself. That means the focus should be on yourself. If the focus is on yourself, that means you're focused on building a foundation. So that way, when you get the nose, when you get the car, when you get your kids back, your foundation is firm.
Yeah.
Or building, meaning what do I need to do to accomplish these things?
But also working in reentry. I mean, I love working in it, but I don't miss it.
No.
And it's because like they want to get all this stuff, but they don't want to put the work in to get it.
And that was the whole point. And that's the whole point of this episode, because a lot of people, they want the podcast. They want the followers. They want the things in life, but then they don't want to put the work into it. Or like I think one of the best things Bear told us was, don't deviate from your why and your purpose.
Right.
And that's what a lot of content creators do, or people that are in this industry. They deviate because it's what they got going on feels like it's not working. And sometimes in life you take these shortcuts because you feel like it's not working.
But them shortcuts always let you crash and burn.
Ugh.
You know, because
And we all do it.
yeah, but normally if you take a shortcut, there's something wrong with it.
Yeah.
You know, like me wanting to be in the background of the podcast, like stagehand or something, is big, because I wanted to do a podcast at one point, you know, and I was like, nah, I don't want to do no podcast. I bought equipment and everything, and I'm stuck in front of the camera now. Right.
But that's you though, because if people really get to know you, then they know like you are the person in the room that you will go and network and connect with people. But at the same time, you're not going to be the loud person in the room.
No.
You're going to be the quiet person that notices what everybody did in certain moments, where I'm in the room, where I'm like the person that's like, hey, how are you? Yes, this is what I'm doing. You know, like I'm the person that when my mom and my kids go to an event with me, they're like, give me the keys, because they know I'm being pulled from different directions, because they ready to go to the car. I'm still being pulled on different directions. So
yeah, I mean, you know, you got to put the work in to get the results. You know.
Yeah.
And you know, this is the thing about going to the gym, man. If you don't go be consistent with it, you're not gonna get the results you want. And I gotta remind myself that, because I just be like, man, I just want to be able to show up, you know, do my little 1, 2, and I'm out. And it don't happen like that, you know. Maybe one day it will. Maybe one day, you know, I'll be able to just come to a building. Not maybe. When that day comes, that I'll be able to show up to a building, turn the lights on, turn the switches on, everything's already set up. All thing I gotta do is sit in front of the screen, boom, hit send to the engineer, boom, and it's a wrap.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that point.
But it's gonna take that work. It's a consistent grind.
And you know what? I think that makes it even more worth it, because I can remember getting so upset one time. And Kayla, if you're watching this, I love you. But there was one time my sister was given a car by a church member, paid for everything. And I remember getting so mad because I got 2 kids and we were struggling. And I was like, so can't nobody give me a car? And something my cousin said was, how you gonna get mad at her blessing? Wow. But I was mad because I was like, oh, so you don't see me down here struggling? I can't get, but Kayla, if you watching this, I know you, I love you. I got mad because I felt like she didn't appreciate it. But it made me realize I did appreciate what I had because I worked.
But let me ask you a question on that. Was it for you to decide whether or not she appreciated
it? It wasn't. And later on with growth, I realized that. I had realized that didn't have anything to do with me, and I was operating out of anger. I was operating out of anger and jealousy. And anything that you do in life, you cannot look at other people's lives and blessing and dictate if they deserve it or not.
And by saying that is because I was for a minute I was like, why is this person steady moving forward?
Yes.
And they ain't doing half the work. But what I have come to realize is, no matter they're moving forward, doesn't mean they're gonna stay there.
Yeah.
And I'm taking my time. God is showing me the right direction, and I know it's gonna be. I'll be able to withstand everything that's gonna come in my way, because I'm taking baby steps, you know, and I'm doing it. I'm doing it the right way, so I know it's from the good part, not because, you know, everything that glitter ain't gold, and just because something happens in life don't mean God did it.
Yeah.
You know, the devil can do some things too, just to see how your faith is.
And you know something else that I learned too? I learned that you really gotta watch what you pray for, because you might pray for $1 million, or you might pray for a $60,000 job or $80,000 job or $100,000 job, but and sometimes it's given to you,
I can witness to that.
but
Yeah.
you can't handle it.
Let me tell you, in 2020, I was making 12, $13 an hour, and my job offered me 25.63 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Highest paying job that I had at the time, and I was like, oh snap! But all that money started coming in, I went straight to the streets.
You can't. Sometimes you can't, and that's another episode.
Man,
That's another episode because
no, just imagine this: being homeless, living in the Audi.
that's crazy.
Dang it.
That's a whole nother episode. That's a whole nother episode.
Oh man, God is good.
You just listened to the Blind Truth Shot. 500 downloads, the truth behind the grind, powered by Destinnee is by Choice Support Services. To everyone who has listened, supported, shared an episode, or encouraged us along the way, thank you. You are part of this journey. And to anyone out there working toward a goal that feels slow, heavy, or uncertain, hear this clearly. Progress doesn't always look loud. Sometimes it looks like consistency. Sometimes it looks like showing up when nobody is clapping yet. We said that.
All the time.
The grind can be quiet. The growth can be slow, but that doesn't mean it isn't happening. Don't quit before the breakthrough. Don't walk away before the miracle, and don't let the opinions of others stop the purpose placed inside of you. Remember, your destiny is by choice, not by chance, and keep walking in your truth. Until next time, this is your host and co-host,